am Java here. Welcome back to our Streamlit tutorial. Today we will be discussing on Streamlit Checkbox. We know that checkbox is used to decide whether a task is done or not by enabling or disabling, which returns true or false. If it is checked, that returns true. If it is unchecked, it returns false. So let us see what is the basic information about Streamlit widget. Here, from the API perspective, Streamlit provides few information like what all parameter it takes from the Streamlit checkbox perspective, the label, the value, default value is false, and the key. For example, if I am creating multiple checkboxes to differentiate the checkbox, we use the key and help annotations. And whenever the change happens, which functions I need to call, what should happen when the change, like on change functions, like different arguments we will go through in detail with the different examples. The return type, as I said, it will be boolean, and it returns whether it is true or false based on checked and unchecked. The different use cases, as I said, unchecked, checked, and checked disabled and unchecked disabled. These are the four different use cases which we can use in our web applications, and that we will be demo shortly. So let's start with the first program for creating the checkbox application here in the Streamlit. So I'm creating a Python file for the checkbox, and then we will see the different example. I divided into two parts. One is the basic part, other one is the advanced part. In the basic part, I just cover how to create a checkbox, how to check and uncheck the checkbox, how to read the input, and how based on the input received, checked or unchecked, we can perform some action. I will be showing. In the advanced feature, I will be showing how the help works, how the label works, how the key works, why the key is important, and the onChange functionality. It's a callback functions. Whenever the changes happen on the checkbox, whether it is checked or unchecked, we need to call some function. So that I will be covering in the advanced concept. So I'm just creating a basic header, subheader, so that we are seeing the Streamlit basic examples like that. So now let's see advanced, because I will be creating both, but first I will cover the basic one and then I will cover the advanced one. Okay, very important in any Streamlit application. The first point what we import is import Streamlit as ST. Then the ST gives all the available functions of the Streamlit so that we can display, we can use the required functionalities. Today we will be using st.checkbox. Okay, so we created two things. One is checkbox basic example, other one is checkbox advanced example. In the left hand side also you can see that our previous examples on the text inputs and other widgets, Streamlit title APIs functions. So how to create st.checkbox? I am giving a default, the label. If I do not pass anything, it consider first parameter as the label. It created a default checkbox, you can see on the right hand side. The very important thing in any programming language, we must see the what is the API functionality. Like for example, Streamlit provides st.checkbox, but internally what it does, we need to go and see it. As we see that it takes different parameters and the explanation of each parameter is given here. Many of the attributes, many of the parameters passed to these functions are optional, and today definitely we will cover all of them, why that will be used and how that will be helpful in future like that. Now I am creating a checkbox like where we can see that it is checked. Let's give some name, default. The value I am giving is a true. Default value I am passing. So it should be checked. When I say this function, it should be checked. So I am giving the key because You see here default, the same name I am giving. All the widgets in the checkbox, it is just like a hash map. Only one key it will be taken. If the other key comes, it's a constraint. It will give the modification exception. So that's why we are giving the key here. So now one is checked, other one is unchecked, default. Now default disabled, how we can do it, default disabled. Let's say there is a disabled attribute which we can set to true, okay, parameter for this function. And because it is checked, default value was checked, now it is actually default unchecked disabled. Okay. We can also pass false. Instead of true, we can pass as a false. If I do not pass any value to this, it by remain false only. Okay, so now we can see the how the checks happens, and here how the restrictions are there because it is disabled. Now the same thing again, we will wait for the default checked disabled. That means we want to disable it, but it is checked. Nobody can edit it. Yeah, these scenarios will come many places. Maybe whether the active or inactive cases. If user doesn't should not modify that field, we just enable it based on the YRN and disable the checkbox for addition. So here also it is same thing. I'm just renaming the default values to unchecked, checked, so that it better readability for the given example the checkbox. So now let's see the another one, st.checkbox. Then let's take on for the disabled checked. This is bypassing the default one. Default value checked. Checked means value of this one should be true. That's why I am passing value must be true. And then you can give the key checked disabled. You can say cd. Any name you can give which is unique. Then you can also say that disabled is equal to true. Two are enabled. First one is default and see you can see that you cannot modify this one. Here disabled. We can edit. You can modify this editable. The other two are none. The basic coverage, like how we can check and check the checkboxes, the default here we cover. Right. Next, I will be showing how to read the input based on the check or uncheck, and then perform some operation based on the result. Okay. So what we should do for this? First, we need to create a variable assigned to it, so that we get the value of the checkbox based on the check or uncheck to that boolean value. Okay. So because I am just writing basic example, that is nothing but some basic operations we are going to perform now. That is how to read the value of the checkbox, whether it is checked or unchecked. Okay. Let's start. Read the checkbox status. You can give any name, but I am just giving the some readability perspective, checked or unchecked. Now let's read the values to some local variable. Okay. After that, once I receive the value to that, we add the condition. If it is checked, display something. If it is unchecked, do something. Like that. It is like a if-else condition. We can use if there is a single checkbox. There are multiple checkboxes, if-else later we can use. So next I'm writing here one by one. Key 1. Is checked if is checked, because the is checked contains the boolean value. The checkbox returns the boolean value. Let's print it before going to the condition. What is the value of it? Value of is checked is equal to. Okay, so you can print the value, put it in the str the value. So now let's do something, right? st.write I will cover in the future section. The std write is used to draw something, render something on the web application. So that will be soon after saving this file. So std it is checked because we are writing earlier by seeing that example. We are just seeing that it is checked based on the color or disability tick mark. We are saying that. So now when I created one, it is unchecked because the value is false. Now when I check it, the value automatically turned to true, the value and false. This is how we leave the checkbox values and we use in our applications so that in any web applications we can use the checkboxes to retrieve and read the values. Okay. So these are all the basic examples we have seen. In the next, uh, in the upcoming file, we will show the advanced example. So basic example ends here. So let's move to the advanced concept. Okay. In the advanced case, as I said, I will show the help. There was a help attribute which we can pass to the function, and here I will create couple of the checkboxes. You can same thing you can do as well, uh, like send message, then create another like 2 3 couple of them. Oh, this is very important. The checkbox with send message and send message 2 times, you see that there are multiple identical widgets. Each widget should be differentiated by either by label, the name what we pass, or the key what we send. Okay, so now you will not get the error. Even if it is the same name twice we had, if the keys are different, we will not get error. Okay, the exception what we seen just now. Now I am creating the send SMS, send email with the different keys, right? So let's add help here. So why this? What is this send SMS means? I need to define some value. I need to define something. So for that, we have the help attribute in the checkbox as a parameter we can pass, and we can write whatever we want. Now you can observe that there is a question mark appeared on the web right side, so we can see that the send message to mobile. So this is how the help can be used wherever we want to assist the end users. What does this mean? The send SMS means, or anything I want to validate. Such things we can mention the rules or the numbers, prefix or postfix, anything we want to put it, the message length and all, we can say, keep it there so that the end user won't check it and accordingly they will act in the below operations. Now once that is done, let's create another checkbox, send both SMS. This in the passport office, many cases, do you want to send SMS, do you want to send subscribe to email, or both, it will be there, right? Similarly, the same thing we are implementing here. It can be there in any applications, but I'm just taking an example of password because they ask when we get password, right? So now on change, this is the important feature. What happens? What function I need to call on change? It's a basically a callback function. Whenever the state of the checkbox changed, the status of the checkbox changed, then call this method. So now I'm just giving on change method only to send SMS and email. So and expecting a string attribute to be passed wherever this method is called. What is um, sending? Like what I am sending, this callback function. So on change of the value, I will be what I called, I will be printing it, whether it is a SMS or email or both. Let's check that this unselected option is, we can type the type, what is the type. Okay. Just displaying it, just a text it is, and change I will be calling this. Let's write over here the argument we can pass. What is this argument value will be the arguments to be passed to what is sending function. the unchange function and the argument are tightly coupled. Whatever the argument, like currently it is one string we are passing, but there can be any number of argument or tuples we can pass via arguments for unchange functions. There is also a dictionary. If you go to the functionality of the checkbox, you can see the dictionary value we can pass to the unchange function only. Okay, so we have added unchange functions for each of these, all the three. Let's see once it is done, we will see in the UI what does it happen when we check each checkboxes. Okay, so it's coming here. We are just printing the type, and type I am passing as an argument. That is how it is designed. Now let's click on the any of this. So I am clicking on the top of it unchanged card, selected option SMS. Now it is called email. Okay, SMS, SMS and email. Whenever the state changes, immediately that call will be made to the unchange function. And here I just taken the example to display some text, but there are a lot of operations we can do. Send SMS, we can enter the mobile number and send the SMS like that, one email or both of these such logical operations we can get inside this function. But for now we have just written the basic example to display which button has changed its state. Whether it is true or false we are not checking, but we are checking the state of this checkbox, whether it is changed or unchanged. Based on that checked or unchecked, we are calling the other functions like SMS, email and SMS. Thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you got more information on the checkbox, and definitely I will try to give more examples, but hope these are the examples whatever we have taken are helpful. Just a glance, like these are all the attributes we can pass to these functions, and the basic operations checked and check disabled and check disabled, and then the basic examples. We saw that by live coding, how to read the values, how the check and uncheck works, how the disabled work, all this. In the advanced, we saw that the key works and how the SMS, help, unchange functions, arguments, dictionary, all this works we are seeing in the advanced example. Okay. Hope I believe these videos are useful. I am uploading this video as well to the same YouTube channel. You can subscribe, you can add a comment or suggestions or anything. I will take it up those helpful suggestions and adopt in the next videos. Thank you.